You're listening to Zero Hour, a Scarlet Rhapsody podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Zero Hour. I am your host, Ari Kagami, and on our show we have Lee May.
Hi everyone!
Yeah, we're excited to have you on our show. So, Lee May is our East Coast correspondent, and we are here to talk about anime NYC. Now, Lee May, I was going through your report, and it seems there was a lot that was going on. There was a lot that had to do with fate. There was a lot that had to do with doll fees, and you even dipped your toes in the cosplay contest.
Yes, I did. So yeah, a lot was happening with Anime NYC, and for those of you guys who read the report that's already up online, you'll see that, of course, there was a lot of travel issues, and so I know that people who were traveling, there was actually a huge snowstorm.
Oh no.
Like a blizzard, like bad, and so a lot of people who were coming in, I know one of my friends coming from the south, her flight actually got canceled, so she didn't go to the con at all because the next flight was on Sunday.
Yeah, I heard a friend of mine from out here who used to live over in New York. She's one of the heads of Make Light Studios, and
cool.
She told me that it was a very close call whether or not she would make her flight out to New York, and plus she was working with a Crunchyroll, I believe, during the con. So oh yeah, I'm gonna miss my gig if I don't make my flight.
Oh my gosh, but there's no snow on the West Coast, right? It was just
No, it doesn't snow here on the West Coast. It's 50-degree winters out here, and people consider that freezing out here.
Oh wow, that's lucky. Yeah, so obviously whether you're coming from the West Coast or from the South or from New England, I know in New England the snow is even worse than in New York, so a lot of people who were driving into New York couldn't even drive because the snow was so crazy. Everything was backed up with traffic, and so my friend who was hosting that weekend actually got, her bus was supposed to arrive around 7 p.m. or so after I got off work on that Thursday, but she didn't get here till morning on Friday because there was so much traffic and the snowstorm backed everything up.
Oh, I imagine.
Yeah, and then there was a lot of travel plans were delayed or canceled, but I actually heard from someone else who was there on Friday, though, that even though we went in kind of late on Friday, we didn't miss too much because things at the show didn't start really happening till after lunchtime.
Gotcha. And where was this held? This was held over at
this is in the Javits Center.
Oh, Javits, okay.
Yep, so right at the other end of the 7 train. So from Flushing, you take the 7 all the way to 3rd, 4th Street, Hudson Yards, and same place where New York Comic Con takes place too.
Yeah, it has that glass ceiling type thing. Yeah, I remember that, because I remember I used to do New York Comic Con, and I remember when, New York Anime Fest was there, because I think we went there for 1 year, because we were kind of curious to see what a New York convention was like when we were living out here on the West Coast.
Cool. And actually, BookCon is there too every year in Book Expo.
I'm very happy that they really expanded on BookCon, because I think they had a smaller version of it during my first visit to New York City, and they had a huge comics section. I was just collecting all the Betty and Veronica and Archie comics. They're ooh, I'm so happy it's expanded, yay! But we're here to talk about Anime NYC. So has this con been going on for a while? Because it sounds like it's brand new.
Yeah, actually last year was the first year, so this year is only the second year it's been running.
Gotcha. So how was it for a second year con?
Yeah, second year definitely felt like it grew. It was a lot more crowded, and what's interesting this year is we actually shared the convention floor this year with another con. So half of the Javits was Anime NYC, and half of it was actually PetCon.
Ooh, PetCon? What kind of... Did you see any people bringing in pets?
Yeah, we did. We saw a ton of pets. So actually, what's really funny is I spoke to someone there who got 2 passes, one for Anime NYC and one for PetCon. So she actually brought her dog with her. And then, from what I heard, PetCon was happening at the same time. It's a convention all for pets. You can go and buy things for pets, sample new things, where it's shampoo for dogs, or cat treats, or bird cages and things like that. And it's just all pets, I guess, over there. And people advertising their pet sitting businesses or pet grooming and things like that.
Oh, that sounds...
So we saw a lot of pets and a lot of confused PetCon goers who were what the heck's going on? Because, they're going there for PetCon, and then there's a ton of cosplayers who are in the lobby, and for coat check and things like that, because we were sharing that space.
Gotcha. Yeah, that would cause a bit of confusion, but I'd also be, down for PetCon, too.
I was actually happy seeing all the pets. It was really cool that everyone had those there, and, the con floor, obviously for Dealer's Room, Artist Alley, panels, all of that was separate from PetCon, but the shared space would be, the lobby, the food section, things like that.
Gotcha. So, you mentioned that things didn't kick off on Friday till 12 noon. What was going on Friday?
Yeah, so I actually didn't get there till later in the evening, only because, not evening, but like late afternoon, since by the time I picked up my friend, it was like morning on Friday. We went to sleep and then we had to like eat and stuff. And so we didn't get to the con until maybe like, I guess 4 or 5-ish. But when we were there, I know my friend went to see a premiere for a movie, and it was actually the world premiere, I believe, for the Natsume Yujincho movie. And so it's really cool that they had that there at the con. I know at this con they also had other premieres too, like the second season of Mob Psycho premiered at NYC as well. So all fans for that, I'm sure, were like really excited to be like the first one seeing it.
Nice.
And when I was there, I checked out the artist alley, and it was huge. Like, I was super impressed by how many people were there. Like, even going on Friday, I spent, like, I think at least 2 hours in artist alley. I still didn't see all of it, even going, row by row.
Was our artist alley decently spaced out? Because I know sometimes if I go in an artist alley, especially if it's a large con, sometimes I feel like I'm sardined in. Were you able to at least able to move around?
Yeah. I did feel sardined in. Like, it wasn't, like, crowded where I got stuck or couldn't get through the different aisleways. It was spaced out enough that aisles were pretty wide. It was just very, very, very full of a lot of artists. Like, the artist tables were everywhere. Like, even in the hallway going into it, there's, like, artists lining either side. And then when it opens up to the big space room, there's, like, tons of more aisles. So it was good that they spaced out enough that you could still walk and get through traffic. But there was so many artists, I felt kind of overwhelmed. And especially when you first entered, there's just so much. I still try to figure out, like, which way to go to walk through it. And the good thing is they also have labels pretty clearly, like, on the sides. They'll have, like, the row numbers and things like that. And so you could kind of remember, like, which row you were at and which number the booth was at.
Gotcha. Did you get anything at Artist Alley?
Yeah, so actually, when I was there, I, as you know, was looking for Dino Ace March, or art, but I didn't really see anything. But I did see something for a rare pair. And so I felt like I had to get it, because I've never, ever seen anyone, like, have any fan art of this pairing, and it was actually a fan book that some artists collaborated on that was really cute.
Awesome.
Can you guess what it was?
No. Do tell me.
But it's from a popular fandom, but it's, like, my favorite ship from this fandom. It's really rare, but it's from Yuri on Ice.
Ah, cool.
Yep, and it was Leo and Guanghong, and I spotted it, like, I remember I was at this booth with a lot of different fanzines and fan books, and I noticed there was one with, like, them in a, like, Polaroid type things. I picked it up, and I freaked out because I realized it was all that ship, which never happened. Like, I've never seen it before. It never happened. I was so excited, and the artist was really cute and really excited, too. It was like, oh my god, wait, you love it, too? I'm like, yeah, oh my god, it's my favorite ship, but it's such a rare pair. And then I bought it, and they let me pick a free button, too, so that was cool.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, and then that's all I bought that day, because I wanted to go through, like, all of the artist alley before deciding what else I wanted to get. But later on that weekend, on Sunday, I did also get some original art from the artist alley.
Mm-hmm.
That caught my eye. That was actually just, like, original art, horrors. Not any fandom, but it was... Do you know the Jiangshi? It's, like, the Chinese version of zombies, kind of, like, zombie vampire type things.
Probably not.
But I saw original art of that, and I was really excited. I asked her if it was from a fandom or something, because I've never seen any original art of the Jiangshi style thing, but she said it's just original art, because she likes horror a lot. And it was, like, really cute. It was this cute Jiangshi girl, and she had, like, the seal on her face, from, like, the demon slaying seal, but she was eating, like, a noodle soup full of brains and eyeballs and things.
Wow.
So it's cool, like, cute gore art kind of thing. So I got that, and from the same artist, I also got art of, like, this girl in, like, chamomile tea, so it's, like, personified tea kind of thing, with the chamomile flowers.
Nice.
Yeah, so you can find original art, fan art, a lot of artists there, also, like, people selling, like, handmade clothing, t-shirts, those things were there, too.
Yeah, I like seeing the handmade clothing stuff, because usually one of my things I like about going to artist alleys is, like, looking for, like, Lolita hair accessories and, like, just things to accessorize myself with, like, wearable art.
Yeah, wearable art. They love rings and resin castings and things like that, too, and cute hair bows and stuff.
One of my sister's favorite booths at, there's Southern California based, or Arsenic Apple, I think. They do, like, the baseball hats, but with, like, the resin kind of, like, lettering on the front of the hat. So I have one that says Idol, and she has a black hat with green lettering that says hero as a tie-in to Deku from My Hero Academia. You can see a lot on our website because it's like her convention hat.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like hats, things like that, there are some of those too, both Juilliard's and Artist Alley. But I know in Artist Alley, too, speaking of fashion, I also saw an artist there who did really cool art that was like J-Fashion Leda inspired, but what it was like kind of grotesque, creepy art, but it was really pretty.
Ooh.
And so she had things like carousel theme, tea party theme. There's one like really interesting beheaded tea party thing when they're all like headless, but like the heads were the teacups.
That's
and, like,
amazing.
Carousel one. I love other really cool grotesque art, but the characters in the art were all like wearing Leda fashion. And so of course I talked to Artist Bit, and they were also Leda fashionistas. So that was really cool.
All right.
Yeah, I spent most of I think Friday in the Artist Alley, and then also like walking around and just like people watching and taking photos of other cosplayers around. And yeah, and I know that last year and the first year there was also a ton of people with Eat It bags. You know, of course, in Duel's Room, a lot of people selling Eat It bags, things like that. And so there was also a lot of people showing that off. I don't know if there was an official meetup, but I definitely was able to chat with some people with really impressive Eat It bags.
Yeah, I know Eat It bags are also a huge thing out on the West Coast con scene. I'm still trying to like conceptualize my first idol themed Eat It bag. I do have like I have a Disney themed Eat It bag because I've been collecting like so many Disney pins throughout the year. So I just had kind of like, okay, Eat It bag, all my Disney pins. But I'm trying to like just work on my Daya Eat It bag from Love Live.
That's like Dino Ace now.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now. It's like, yeah, she's my best girl in Sunshine. So like, you and I need to do Ruby and her older sister.
We need you, Ruby and Daya, next time.
Yes.
Literally. Sisters.
Yay!
I actually saw someone on that Friday with a really impressive Daya Eat It bag too.
Cool.
It was really cute because like the bag itself was like red in color, so it was like her color too.
Mm-hmm.
And then inside it had tons of pins and keychains, things like that all over.
Yeah. For mine, I have like all the keychains ready to go. I have like the crafting paper ready to go too. It's just a matter of just finding a bag that really calls to me. And one game that I've been playing a lot is Fate Grand Order. And I'm sure we'll talk about Fate later in the show. I have been collecting all the Saber keychains, and I'm like, okay, I need to make a Saber Eat It bag. And then there's another game I've been playing that's getting an anime release this year called Azure Lane, and I'm already...
Oh, I heard about that.
Yes, it's kind of like Contact Collection, but like more ships.
Wow.
So like, okay, I need to do like a Team America Eat a bag from this series.
That's gonna be super exciting because when they get an anime, there's always more merch and things that come out.
Oh, absolutely. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, other than like people watching, Eat a bag watching, anything else on Friday?
Yeah, so on Friday also, I walked through the con floor again to see if there's anything new just in the lobby-ish area, because in the lobby area, there's always, like, obviously lobby, but there's also, like, a food court type thing. So just checking out, like, what's there in case there's anything else, like, any panel rooms or stuff. But it was a big, like, Fate con, I guess, because a lot of Fate-themed things. So I know in the lobby, when you first walk in, there's this ginormous, like, hanging banner. It's huge. It's, like, bigger than a billboard of, like, Fate.
Yeah, that sounds like Anime Expo, because we also had, like, a lot of Fate advertising and Fate adverts at Anime Expo.
Exactly, like, Fate ads everywhere, like the new movie, or the games, the mobile game, it was, like, everywhere. And then in the food court section, I didn't eat at the food court on Friday, but I know they had, like, a food court on the lower level, so when you first enter the Javits, you can go down the escalators. On the lower level, they have, like, one event room, there's a coat check there, and then there's also a food court. And if you go up a level, there's also, like, kind of another food court area. But of course, like, as you know, with, like, a lot of con food court type things are really expensive. There's also multiple Starbucks at the con, by the way, so if anyone is addicted to Starbucks, you won't have an issue. You don't have to leave the building.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 2 different locations, too.
Oh, awesome.
But on Friday, because my friend was visiting from out of state, she wanted to go and check out an actual restaurant, so we yelped a place that was a short commute away to eat at. But it's New York City, so it's super easy. You know, you can go get street food, you can go to restaurants. It's all, like, very accessible.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed, too, that right outside the con, they, like, had a ton of food trucks and food stands, like, literally right on the sidewalk outside the con. When you enter or exit, you can get halal food right there, hot dogs, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So you literally can go out, grab it, and, like, go back into the con, essentially. And I didn't see there was an issue with that. Like, people were able to bring the outside food in. I don't think they really cared, like, in the lobby.
Mm.
Because I thought that places usually wouldn't let you bring outside food in, but I noticed a lot of people bringing food in, and in the lobby they don't really care.
Ah, interesting.
I don't know if they'd let you bring in, like, outside food, though, if you, like, I don't know, cooked food at home and brought it.
Because that's usually our strategy to save money at
though.
cons, is usually we just make sandwiches at the house, or, like, hot dogs, and we just kind of, like, sneak it into, like, a compartment in our bag since the security won't find it.
I mean, I totally had applesauce and granola bars in my bag and candy, and no one cared. Like, they checked my bag, but they didn't say anything. I mean, I brought my water bottle, and it was fine, too, so I don't think it's too big of a deal, like, at the con, but I don't know if things will change for next year. I think what it is you can't, like, be, I guess, bringing food into the panel rooms, things like that. I mean, I understand why you don't want to get dirty or accidentally spill or something like that, but in the lobby, in that outside area, it's fine.
Mm.
And then also on Saturday, which is cool, that's actually the first day that I went to the exhibit hall this week. I didn't see it on Friday. And so that day, the exhibit hall was huge too, really impressive, just like the Artist Alley as well. And there was a lot of vendors, you know, with like Aniplex, Crunchyroll, etc. And then also vendors, like smaller vendors, a lot of big brands who are selling their clothing lines, stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
A lot of interesting street fashion brands I'd never heard of, actually, who were there.
Oh, like, who?
I don't remember the exact names. There was one brand that had a lot of sweatshirts and t-shirts and had, like, their art printed on it, which is really cool. A very detailed original art, basically, on t-shirts, sweatshirts, and a lot of kind of, like, anime fandom motifs. Like, not from any specific fandoms, and things like, you know, schoolgirls and, like, androids, like, those kind of motif things. Or, like, there's one really cool one with all of this sea creatures, but in the sky. So it was like the sky, you know, the clouds in the sky, but also like whales and fish and sea lions and things.
Oh, I like sea lions.
And they had like really unique art, a very distinct art style. And then there was also another brand that was doing something similar, but a different artist who was selling like street fashion, like t-shirts, shirts, sweatshirts kind of thing.
Nice.
And they also had like things like wallets, etc. with their art on it. But that one I think was in the vendors hall and not in Artist Alley. I'm not sure why, but maybe it's because they had like a store envy or like an actual website where they sold stuff on. But I know I was a bit confused as to what defines something to be like in the vendors or exhibit hall versus Artist Alley, because there were some similar, you know, still like artists who did clothing in Artist Alley too. But I don't know if you knew, like, if there's anything on West Coast that you noticed they also had clothing at both categories.
Yeah, it really depends on the con. Like, I know Fanime, they have, like, accessories and small pieces of clothing at Artist Alley and also in the dealer's hall. And I know Anime Expo, I'm not really spending a lot of time in the Artist Alley because it's very crowded and the aisleways are very narrow. But for the most part, I always see prints at Anime Expo. But I do know, like, at some of the other Comic-Cons I attend, I do see a lot of wearable art at the Comic-Cons, like Long Beach Comic-Con, Ontario, Comic-Con Revolution. So, yeah, I do see a good mix of both worlds. But I think it just really depends on the event. 'Cause I know it's not prevalent at Anime Expo. I think people who sell, like, wearables art are encouraged to get a booth in the dealer's hall rather than an Artist Alley booth. I think those are typically reserved for like people who do the print art because it's so high in demand to get a table at Anime Expo.
Yeah, of course. I wonder if that's why they also had, you know, wearable art in dealers. But also, like, you know, there's also some J-fashion indie brands too, like Miss Kitty Hall, like, had a booth there and exhibit. So I went to visit there, and it's super cute, like all the pastel and fairy case style things.
Ooh, I do love me some pastels.
I know, pastels are here. They're really cute, and then of course you have the stuff that plushie booths, things like that. Lots of plushies. There were people who were selling. Some Taobao resellers were there too, reselling Taobao J-fashion things and accessories. And yeah, and then you always have, you know, the cosplay weapon prop booths there too. And what was cool though is they had a lot of interactive booths and also booths giving away free stuff, which was cool.
Did you get any free stuff?
Like, those free stuff, like free posters for new animes they're promoting. Like, I didn't really know. I got some posters for things, I didn't really know what they were, but I mean, I can give it to a friend if they're into it. But, you know, for the Natsume Ujisho movie, they're giving away free posters for that movie. I got, you know, free print for Fate. I got a free poster for an anime I had never seen at the time, but actually watched it in December. So now I know what it is, but for this, like, BL anime, Dakaichi, they had free posters for that. So there's actually quite a few, like, freebies things you could get for free, and, like, some free snacks, too, at one booth.
I like free snacks.
Course,
free snacks. I'll never complain.
I'll never complain with free snacks either. Actually, I did pay for frozen lemonade that day because it was actually really hot inside. Probably it was crowded. So they had frozen lemonades there, and I bought one. It was a very, very well spent money right there.
There you go.
Strawberry lemonade mix, which is good, frozen. And then I thought it was really cute. The Crunchyroll booth had a banana pool. It was super cute, and it was always a line there. But I ended up waiting in line. It was worth the wait, because you got to take pictures in this giant pool full of cute banana plushies. They're like bananas, but when you peel it, it's a cat. I don't know if you've seen it before, but it's like a Crunchyroll thing.
I don't think I have, but it's been a while since I've been on the Crunchyroll website, but I'll have to, like, just check that out with morbid curiosity. Banana?
Yeah. Banana. It's like banana, but banana, like cat. Yeah. They're super, super cute. It was like, aw. And then it was really funny because they had, like, this... To get in line, they had this thing when you had to lift your leg up a certain height or else you couldn't get in.
Huh?
Yeah, like, they had this, like, ruler type thing. You know how sometimes for rides at amusement parks, they get to be above this height to get in? It was like that, but, like, you have to lift your leg this height minimum to get in.
Wow.
Because apparently it was a safety concern. You had to lift your leg that high up to go get all over this thing and reach the step without falling or something.
Oh, wow. That's new.
And I was like, interesting. Because I thought it was like a height thing. Like, you can't be too small of a child or whatever. But it was actually lift your leg up above that height. Without falling. But I passed the test and was able to get online.
Yay.
And then they also had a really big Dolphy Dream booth there.
Yes, I saw the photos. Tell me about the Dolphy Dream booth.
Yeah, no, there's so many. They have, like, I think from Nier Automata, the game. I don't know if you know with it, but it's
yeah,
like,
I'm quite familiar with it.
In the black. They had people cosplaying, I mean, not people, but dolls cosplaying as those characters. They had Vocaloid dolls and also, like, custom dolls and love clothing, wigs, etc. It was huge. That was really cool. I didn't buy any because they were so expensive, but they were just beautiful to look at.
You know in your heart you want one.
I want one, but I did not have the budget to buy one, but I wanted one. I was staring at them. I visited booths several times, no joke. I, like, walked around, walked back, walked around, walked back. I'm like, oh, the Dolphy Dreams.
If you could buy...
Luca and Miku were beautiful.
If you could buy any of the Dolphy Dreams that were at that booth, which one would you take home?
I would buy the Miku one.
Which one?
The Miku one home.
Because there's a couple of
I
Mikus.
love that Miku.
Can you describe the Miku?
The Miku was really cute. She was in the default outfit.
Oh, okay. Per
like
usual.
In the Vocaloid, the original outfit Miku wore, like, you know, when she was released on the art, on the Vocaloid program. And so she was in that original art. And she looked just like Miku. It was like, I need her. And the wig was so cute. And she even had, like, the perfect eyes also. But also the custom ones are cute too when you can make your own and, you know, customize your own.
Yeah, I have a custom one. It's from the Dollpo, so it was a special edition custom makeup. And she's in a He Is My Master maid outfit, and she's my Shirayuki.
Oh, cute.
I was at AX last year, and they also had a huge Super Dolphy booth. And they had, who was it again? I think it was Joan of Arc? I'm trying to remember who it was. Jared, do you remember who it was?
Yeah, they had Joan of Arc, and then they had Santa Saber.
Yes, they had Santa Saber from Fate Grand Order. And she was going for $500, and I actually did have the money for it, but I was just trying to justify, like, do I need to drop $500 on Santa Saber? It'd be nice to have a Fate doll. It'd be nice. I love Fate.
I feel like I need to get into Fate only because we went to that Fate special event Saturday of Anime NYC. I had no idea what was happening, but I was like, maybe I should get into Fate. Like,
you should.
I feel like I might like it because it seems like historical, or maybe not, I don't know. They have historical names, some of them do. And then, like, it looks like fantasy, action. I'm like, I might like it.
You would. I think you would enjoy Fate Zero. I recommend getting into that first, no matter what anyone tells you.
Okay.
Yes, Fate Zero.
Fate Zero is a prequel. Technically, Fate Stay Night's the first one.
Fate Stay Night, the original anime series from, like, what was it, 2005, 2006? Has it been that long? Wow. It's flawed. It has its moments. I remember when I first saw, like, I was like, oh, hey, these characters are in action awesome, but it doesn't give you the whole story per se, and I find Shiro to be insufferable, and I want to kick him sometimes, but that's just my opinion. He suffers from male protagonist syndrome.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Well, I feel like I have no excuse because one of my friends in college did give me all of Fate Zero, I think, somewhere on a USB. I just never watched it, but I should.
I like Fate Zero because I think your main characters there are much more interesting. Like, I didn't like Saber in Fate Stay Night, the first series, but I grew to love her in Fate Zero.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I think my college friend's the same thing. She loved Saber and Fate Zero. But for the Fate Special event, what was cool is it was definitely very exclusive, right? Because it was like, oh, special event, like, and we got to see, like, I guess some first-time previews of, like, messages directly from some of the Japanese cast and crew. Like, they had recorded video basically greeting NYC, so they played those at the beginning. They had a lot of the voice actors for the English cast for Heaven's Feel, which I believe is a movie, right, for Fate?
Yes, it's a trilogy series.
Oh, cool. So that's the first one, right? In the trilogy?
Heaven's Feel is the name of the trilogy series. Because for Fate Stay Night, there's 3 different interpretations of that story, because it originated as a visual novel, and there's like 3 ways where it can go. Fate Stay Night.
I see.
Is
the different endings.
Yeah, the different endings. This version of Fate that they were promoting focuses on Ilya, and I can actually see you cosplaying as Ilya. Jared and I were actually talking earlier, like, yeah, we can see her cosplaying as Ilya.
I have no idea who Ilya is. What does Ilya look like?
Ilya, she's wears a dress, white hair. She looks a lot like your No Game No Life character that you were cosplaying at Anime NYC. Sure. Yeah, I was like looking at that, like, yeah, I can totally see her as Ilya.
I don't think she was in Heaven's Feel, right? I know they played a lot of clips from Heaven's Feel, the first movie.
She's the main character in Heaven's Feel.
Maybe it was Lost Butterfly. No, I'm not sure which movie it was, but I just know like they were playing a lot of clips from Heaven's Feel.
No, wait, my apologies. She's one of the main supporting characters in Heaven's Feel. My apologies.
Oh, okay.
It's like, it's Sakura, my bad.
There were some guys I saw in the clips, and there was also, I think the main girl from Heaven's Feel had like purple hair.
Yeah, that's Sakura.
Sakura, yeah. And so, yeah, the actress for Sakura was there too.
English and Japanese?
I'm pretty sure it was like a ton of spoilers for me. I saw people dying, I saw people getting into fights, and there's like romance, I guess, love story thing on the side too. Like, I was like, wow, I have no idea who these people are, but I'm getting so many spoilers. It was really pretty animation though. That's like a really big budget production.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also had the MA concert, like at the end of all the other stuff they had for the Fate special event. So I guess MA had sung most of the theme songs for Fate.
She does that. She did one of them. She did Brave Shine for Unlimited Blade. Unlimited Blade Works.
She did that song. She performed that too.
I like that song.
It was really beautiful. And she also announced, I guess she's doing the theme song for the second Heaven's Feel movie, Lost Butterfly, and so she announced for the first time in the world, basically, the title of the song got released at the con. And so she said it's called I Beg You for the second Heaven's Feel movie theme. And it was really cute, too, because she talked about how she always wanted to be in New York City and to have a concert there, so it's like kind of like her dream that she achieved finally. Which is really cute to share that moment with her, too.
Yeah, that's amazing because she performed in Los Angeles earlier this year for Anime Expo.
Oh, nice!
And now she's here in New York. So, like, yeah, she's performed coast to coast in 2018.
That's so cool. I didn't know she was on the West Coast, too. It's amazing.
Yeah, I was supposed to see her concert because she was part of, like, a series of concerts, but I couldn't justify, I just couldn't justify the price because of an Anime Expo. You had to pay, like, a separate ticket to go see the concerts, and there were a couple concerts that I wanted to see, and I only could pick one, according to my budget. So I just decided to just go for the Idol concert.
Oh, nice. Did they have, like, I know they had, like, Love Live there, right?
Yes, that was, Love Live was on day 0. That was a separate concert in itself, and that was all of, a chorus, and then the Idol concert had Idolmaster, AKB48, and a couple of other, Idol groups. So I went for the Mega Idol group.
Because I know some of my friends went to, during NYC also, they had the Anna Song World Mastery.
Oh, nice.
So the concert series bringing to New York City, and they had a ton of different, like, Japanese pop stars and rock stars, I believe. And so, I know, Morning Musume, you know that idol group? They were there. The 2018 group was there. And so one of my friends went to see it, too. But I know, like, every night they had a different one, but it wasn't at the concert, though. They had those concerts at the Hammerstein Ballroom.
Oh, how far is that from the con?
I think it's a commute away. It's not too far, but I do think you have to commute there. And so I know some people went, like, some of my friends had to, like, leave the con early-ish to go commute to the Hammerstein Ballroom so they could go to the concerts there. But they had, like, a lot of performances there. Like, Luna Haruta was there.
Yeah, Shoko Nakagawa.
Shoko Nakagawa was there, too.
Oh, I love her.
And then Nano was there. And then also, I think there was, like, a big list, basically. Like, on day 1 and day 2, they had different concerts. And so for ticket pricing, you could buy them, like, there's VIP, general or balcony seating, and things like that. But it's separate, I think. I think you could get the concert ticket without having a con ticket.
Yes.
So it was separate. So you could, like, if you wanted to, just go to the concert, too, if you, like, really liked one of the artists. But it was more like Anime NYC hosting it, but it wasn't part of the con exactly.
Mm.
But all the stuff, if you want to do, like, fan stuff, like Q&As, autograph sessions, those were also, like, hosted by Anime NYC. Mm. But they also had special things like that, so you could get CDs autographed, etc.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And yeah, so the Fate event, special event, was, like, all afternoon, basically. I was there. And then after that Fate event, I believe we just wandered the con floor a bit, had a photo shoot. We actually got to see a Maid Cafe perform, too, which is cool. I don't know if you heard of Made For You Cafe.
No, I have not.
I believe they're based in the tri-state area, like mostly in New York and New Jersey, but I've seen them at other cons too, but this time I saw them in NYC performing. So super cute, because they performed a lot of dance covers, like K-pop, J-pop, also hip-hop songs too, like American music. And it was really cute. Everyone was really cute. And so we watched part of their performance too before we had to go to the masquerade. And before masquerade, luckily, we were able to quickly grab food from the food carts, the halal cart outside the con center. We were like, oh no, we won't have time to eat dinner probably, so we just grabbed food really quick and then went to the masquerade. Because we had to be there for, like, the rehearsal stuff. We didn't actually compete, so actually, for the masquerade at MMC, there's different categories, but you can also do a walk-on that's non-competitive.
Oh, so how did that walk-on go?
So, how it works, it's interesting how they divide up. So you have, obviously, skit category, right? And then you have walk-on category. But you also can do a non-competitive walk-on. And so what that means is you have the option to walk on for fun, but not to compete. So you won't be judged, basically. You can't win anything. Mm-hmm. So we did that, because my friend didn't want to be judged for anything, and we didn't make our cosplay, so, like, we just want to do, like, a walk-on for funsies. And so you have that option, too. And then it was still rehearsal, but that was cool, because we would watch everyone who did have skits and things like that to prepare. And then they had the actual event. It was super long, though. It went past midnight.
Wow.
Really long. A lot of competitors, and it was, like, really exhausting. They were like, oh my god, like, this is great, there's so many great talented people, but when does it end? It just kept going and going. And then of course when it was over, then they had your judging, and when they were doing the judging section, they had, like, fun games and things, like dance offs and contests, like, where the audience can participate, like, while they're waiting for judges to deliberate and decide. But that was going on so long, we ended up leaving after midnight because it was, like, way too late. And I had, like, another commitment too, because I was a guest at one of the after parties, so we had to get to that. So the masquerade was cool though, because I thought it was going to be only anime stuff, but they actually had a lot of other fandoms represented too.
Oh,
like even Broadway, which is fun.
Oh, that's awesome! Like, what kind of Broadway stuff was there?
Yeah, the Broadway is like a giant crossover between Broadway shows as well as characters, and basically it's different anime characters as if they were in Broadway shows, but they did a bunch of different ones. Like I'm not sure the exact full list, but I know, like, Kinky Boots was the finale one for that skit. It was a really long skit. It was over 10 minutes long.
I need to track this down, because I do love me some Broadway. And the fact that they did Kinky Boots, like, oh my god.
Yeah,
people know this what the show is.
It was super cute. It was like a crossover, too. And also, in the Kinky Boots section, actually, like, Light from Death Note had Kinky Boots on, too.
Nice!
Yes. There was a lot of things going on. It was super cute. And then there was also a lot of skits for, like, video games, and there was a skit I actually remember seeing from Liberty City Anime Con. I mentioned it in my report for Liberty City, but that same person did a walk-on at NYC too.
Nice.
I recognized it because same costume. It was one of the really creative, memorable ones for Tokiyami from Boku no Hero.
Cool.
Where it lights up with the demon too, which is cool. Mm-hmm. And then yeah, so I don't actually know who won the events. I didn't stay past the end because it just felt like it was going on and on and on with the games and things. But the main event stage, I thought was really well done too for the rehearsals, because they made sure to tell people, which X's to pose on if you're doing a walk-on, if you're doing a skit, where you should be standing on the stage for it to be like the best view. And so it was good they did that, because it ran really smoothly without any mishaps during the actual performances and walk-ons.
Awesome. Sounds like it went well.
Yeah, and also I think you would like it because it was Idolmaster too.
Oh, I love me some Idolmaster. Idolmaster needs more love. I need cosplay for Idolmaster again.
I know. I was super happy to see Idolmaster, because there's like not that many. I usually don't see Idolmaster skits. And then of course a lot of Love Live. There's a lot.
I'm not surprised.
I think there's at least 4 different Love Live ones.
And were they all just dance covers?
Yeah, they're all dance covers. There was a ton.
Mm.
They were really cute though. We had both Aqua and also Muse too. And some full groups and some like more trio groups.
Yeah, I would love to do a Love Live act again for Masquerade, but it's just been a while since I've done something for Masquerade, and I think the last time I did it was Anime Otakon Vegas 2017 as Ellie Ayase from Love Live.
Oh my god.
And I just did a skit, I didn't dance or anything.
Yeah, the skits are fun. Those are actually mostly dance skits. I think like 90% of them are dance skits. And then, like, because the Broadway one was also technically a dance skit too. And the Vocaloid ones were all dance skits. There was multiple Vocaloid ones as well.
Mm.
But yeah, and then after the con, there's actually multiple Anime NYC after parties too. So Anime NYC doesn't have like an official rave or dance thing. It's more like different groups run after parties. Like, for example, Owa runs one, which is Otakus with Attitude. And then I believe there's the one that I went to was the Anime Dojo one, which is run by Sexy Nerds, which is now one that does different after parties. But like multiple different groups organize unofficial after parties, but they were like promoted at the con, basically.
Oh, nice.
So the con would talk about them too and explain like where each one was.
Oh, that's nice that they promoted like their own after parties and they were officially sanctioned ones from the con, because sometimes there'll be after parties here in Southern California events, and sometimes some can be sketchier than others.
Yeah, for this one, it's like there's multiple groups that run them, so I believe they're not sketchy because they run so many events for cons, and cons will mention them too. It's not like it's secret or hidden or anything. It's like the con will say too, like in the program things, like, oh, different after party choices, you want to go party. And so also, Anime Dojo after party was also not like, in someone's hotel room, it's at a bar restaurant. So it's a public space, and I think the cover charge for that was like $10. It's not too expensive. And you can go there, there's like a dance floor, there's a bar, and also a restaurant downstairs if you want food. The restaurant's open late too, the kitchen's open really late.
Well, it seems like Anime NYC had a lot of parties going on, so let's go on to day 3.
Yeah, so on day 3, last day, Sunday, everyone's like, wow, con went by so fast, but still one more day left, right? And so on the last day, actually, the beginning when I first went to the con, and on the con floor, I was heading to the dealer's room again, because I hadn't finished seeing everything on Saturday. And I was actually interviewed by a reporter from the Queen's Chronicle newspaper. And I guess he was going around asking cosplayers who were from Queens to interview them really quick, just to be like, wow, there's cosplayers in our borough too, which is really cute, because I think when people think of New York City, a lot of times they assume Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to show like people in the community who are from Queens too. And then I finished my rounds for the dealer's room, and then because I wanted to save on time, I just ate at the convention at the convenient food court there and tried the standard con food. And of course, back in the exhibit hall, actually, that's when I also saw, for the first time, what was really interesting is they had a charging station place. It was like a living room. Except not a room. Like, it looked like a living room. Like, the couches, TVs, coffee tables. It, like, looked with a rug, under. It looked like a living room. But it was just an open space kind of in one section of the dealer's room where you could sit there and tons of charging stations for devices.
That's good to know.
And I thought that was really cool because for some reason, I somehow had never noticed it before. I don't know how I didn't notice it the day before, but maybe I just saw it in the corner of my eye and thought it was, like, selling TVs or something. I don't know. But you could, like, sit there and watch anime while charging stuff.
Oh, that's nice. Just a relaxed zone, just kind of like just take a breather.
Yeah, and I heard there's multiple charging areas like that. Like, someone told me on the other side there's an area, but it's more like a bar section. Like, not like an alcohol bar, but, when you're sitting on a stool, it's, like, raised up. But there's another section like that where you can sit on the stools and charge, too. But this area was, like, a living room. And I thought it was cute because it was very homey. You could sit on the couch and chill with friends. And they're playing anime, like, different animes on each TV.
Nice.
Yeah, and so I went there to charge my phone a bit, because obviously you don't want a dead phone at the end of the day. And I also popped back over to the artist alley, which is where I got that original art I mentioned earlier. And over there, I also bumped into some Lolitas and chat with them a little bit about, Lolita fashion, stuff like that. So it's really cool, because, you see people at the con, like, not just cosplayers, but also people wearing fandom wear, people in casual clothes, people in J fashion, alt fashion. There's some Visual K, too, so I think Visual K is coming back a bit.
Yeah, I noticed a little bit of that.
Yeah, like I saw some people wearing Visual K, which I haven't seen in a long time, with the Visual K and punk styles too.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think Sunday was the quietest day. Not as many people were there as Saturday, so I felt like there was definitely more space, so it wasn't as crowded in dealers and things like that. Less lines to deal with. But the biggest line I noticed, though, was the bag check line at the end of the day.
How was that?
Felt like everyone and their families were there, just like everybody. It was such a long line. Like, I definitely recommend bag check. Don't go right at the end of closing time.
Good to know.
I should have gone an hour earlier or 2 hours earlier, honestly. It was just such a long line. It wrapped like all around the entire con center.
Wow, I can't imagine.
Like, everybody was there for bag check.
Everyone's just picking up their swag and just getting ready to go.
Exactly, but with bag check, it's just like, I don't know why I thought it'd be fine leaving. I guess I just didn't think this through. I was like, oh, the con ended. Let's go get my bag. I'm like, oh no, this line. Everybody's trying to get their bag. So I guess the smart people are people who picked up their bag before they announced the con is closing. You know what I mean? Because I waited until they announced, oh, the con is closing in 10 minutes. Make your final purchase and leave. And I just left. And then at that point, this giant line, everyone's trying to leave.
Wow.
It was really, really cray-cray.
I imagine.
Yeah, but the line was there. I mean, it's fine. At that point, I already ripped off my wig and was kind of already partially changed out. So,
I'm done with the con. My hair is free, free at last.
The wig was kind of, to be honest, I could feel my wig cap had already fallen off my head at that point. So I just ripped it off, whatever.
There we go.
And yeah, but I mean, I forgot to mention another booth that I checked out on day 3 on Sunday was. Kinokuniya had a booth there too, which I don't know if you know, but they have bookstores, Japanese bookstores, and they have a location in New Jersey and a location in Manhattan. But they had a booth there too, which is really cool. But they were selling a lot, it was huge. I felt like they brought their entire New York City store to us, at the con. Not just books and publications, magazines, but also Japanese stationery and pens and things like that too. I didn't buy anything, but I know one of my friends got cute stationery and also some magazines there. Because you can get Spoon magazine, and you can get. I'm so sad you can't get a lot of the fashion magazines anymore because they stopped printing Gakuda Bible as well as Kara.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Zipper is still being printed, or at least I saw Zipper there. Some Gyaru magazines are still being printed, but a lot of the more alternative stuff no longer, which is unfortunate. But at least we have the internet, right?
Right.
But yeah, I think that was basically the con then.
All right. So, what were your overall impressions of Anime NYC?
Overall impressions, definitely, you can get a lot of free swag there. It was wow. A lot of free stuff in the exhibit hall people were giving away and things like that. And a lot of variety, too. Obviously, it's an anime con, so we're going to get mostly anime. But, there's a lot of other fandoms represented, too, whether it's Disney or Western comics, things like Voltron, some horror stuff, which is really cool. I love horror. And so I think that it's really nice that even though it's an anime con, they're very inclusive with other fandoms, too. And, of course, any fans who are local, it's super convenient because it's, right at the Java Center, right next to the subway station. And even for people outside, coming from outside, it's super convenient, too. You can be getting there from Port Authority, bus terminal, or Penn Station's really close by also.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, I think it's worth it, definitely. It's the second year now. It's definitely getting bigger. I could tell, even comparing last year to this year, there was a lot more stuff going on this year. I know some people who are into a lot of different fandoms are oh no, there's 5 things I want to do and they're all at the same time. They have a ton going on.
That's good to know because at least you're never bored. There's always something going on because anime conventions are getting more expensive to attend and you want to keep your attendees happy. You want to keep them doing convention related things.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a ton, whether it's panels run by fans, run by industry experts, tons of guests they had there, concerts, special events, the shopping, there's just so much happening. And even, like I mentioned before, they had the Maid Cafe also. There's just so much going on at the con. You can literally spend, all day there and trying to figure out, what to do. There's literally over, I think what they said their schedule actually was they had over 100 hours of panels, screenings, etc.
Mm.
And so there's just a lot happening, and it's a really big space too. Like the space itself, even though they shared it with PetCon, it was still like a huge part of the Javits was dedicated to Anime NYC.
Yeah, and I really like the Javits Center too. The only problem I have with that area of the convention is it's kind of hard to find for like a decent hotel that's not like the Best Western that's close by. Like no matter where you're gonna have to stay, you probably have to walk a ways away to get to the Javits Center. Because I know I used to stay at, I forgot what hotel it was. It was on 34th Street, and I had to walk all the way to that one avenue where Javits was. I'm like, yeah, it was a bit of a walk.
It is a bit of a walk. I mean, that's why, like, for the after party, for example, you can walk there, but it's like a 20-minute walk or something, or more than 20, I don't know. It was long, so I just took, like, Lyft or Uber there. So it would be like a 5-minute drive versus, like, walking for that long.
Right.
Another thing, too, to keep in mind also is that NYC, I thought, this was really good. They also have a really stretched anti-counterfeit and bootleg
Good.
policy, too. So you're, like, any exhibitor selling anything counterfeit will be removed from the event and banned from any future versions, future, like, editions of NYC. So no pirating, no bootlegs or knockoffs, counterfeits, etc.
That's a really good rule to have in place, because I remember on the West Coast, there were a couple of booths that used to sell, like, bootleg DVDs and bootleg plushies and bootleg figures, to the point where it's like, okay, enough is enough. We're gonna end have to end this somehow. So I'm really glad that there's a lot of action being taken place at dealers' halls at conventions to prevent the sale of bootleg.
Yeah, I know it's a huge problem. Like, a ton of places have bootlegs. Like, not even at cons, but even if you go to, like, some stores, like Rambling, will have bootlegs, too.
Yeah, I've noticed that, too. But, yeah, good thing they have that set in place. So, overall, would you recommend Anime NYC?
Yeah, I definitely recommend it. It's a great con, and I can't wait to see what they have in store for 2019.
Yeah, I might consider coming by in 2019. I need an excuse to go to New York again.
Yeah, you should. Totally. Try to come out for Anime NYC. I think it'll be worth your time, too.
Sure, I'll have to check out one of these days. Well, any other closing thoughts on Anime NYC?
I think that's it. Come to NYC if you're ever in NYC or you want to visit NYC. It's a great excuse to come during that time. It's usually in the fall. Like, I think late fall. So, if you're free, you should definitely come.
Sure thing. All right. So, this concludes another edition of 0 Hour, the Anime Conventions podcast. I'm your host, Eric Kagami, and thank you, Lee May, for being on our show.
Yeah, of course. Happy to be here.
All right. Remember, the con is what you make of it, so make it a good one.